How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Ever 17, The Out of Infinity. It's time to kick off episode 3. We are trying to get out of here now. We found the emergency exit for employees. So we're following you around at the moment. And may do permanently, I don't know. It's no good, it doesn't seem to open. You said that after trying to move the door with their weight several times. These were the emergency stairs. Or more accurately, it was the passage on the way there. The emergency stairs wound spiral-like around a fat pipe. If we followed these stairs, they would take us to the floating island, at least in theory. But now, right in front of us stood a thick steel wall. The wall had a small watertight door, and if we couldn't squeeze through that, then we couldn't make our way any higher. This isn't the floating island yet, is it? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Not even. I mean, we haven't even hit Boden, so we've still got a long way to go. Boden. Is that the basement floor 1? You nodded. What does that mean in terms of depth? How deep is that? Let's see. This white stock is 102 feet deep, so around 90 feet, give or take, I guess. We've only climbed around 12 or 15 feet on these stairs. 90 feet deep. 90 feet sounded so close, but in any event, if the door didn't open up, then that was it. Hey, I wonder why it won't open. Who knows? Maybe there's a secret spell or something. Spell? You mean like open sesame, that kind of spell? There you go, taking me seriously. Well, what then? You really want to know? Yeah. Maybe you better not ask. Huh? So what are you going to do? Do you want to hear it or not? Which is it? Oh no. Quick save. Ask. Alright, then I'll tell you. You just were talking about how the watertight doors started closing all of a sudden, right? Yeah. That means that the doors closed automatically. Lair MMIH detected flooding and automatically shut the doors in the areas that were in danger. Huh? What's Lair MMIH? That's what we call the main computer that supervises and manages all of the electronic systems in Lemieux. So what? So probably this... Clang, clang. You knocked on the steel door with a lightly closed fist. This was probably closed by MMIH as well. I see. So in other words, the other side of this door is flooded with water. Probably. She'd been right. It really wasn't something I wanted to hear. Better to know though, isn't it? If the door was simply locked, all we had to do was find a way to open it, and we could climb to freedom. But if the other side was full of seawater, then thinking beyond that was no fun. So what do we do now? So we check out the other emergency stairs. That's all we can do, right? You said it with a sigh and started heading down the stairs. After that, we tried 2 emergency sets of stairs in the area, but both were a waste of effort. They were shut off by thick partitions. It was impossible to climb up to the white stock. According to Curator, there were a total of 12 emergency stairs in Lemieux. 3 of those were closed off, so that left 9. You and I walked around emergency corridors searching for those 9, but we met with a dead end. And a dead end. And a dead end. The watertight doors were completely shut, and there was no way we were getting them open manually. We gave up and headed out to the normal corridors to see if we could work our way around using them. You wouldn't want to open them anyway if they're full of water. And still, we met with a dead end. And a dead end. And a dead end. Inside the sprawling Lemieux complex, there was a web of several dozen corridors. We investigated each, only finding closed doors everywhere. It seemed hopeless. Both the normal corridors and the emergency corridors were sealed. All were blocked off. The only thing left for us to try was Drite stock. It looks like the only thing left is to go down the floor. With the elevators out of action, the emergency stairs were our only choice. Thankfully, 1/3 of the remaining 3 stairs were still operating, which meant that even if there was no going up, we could still go down. You and I wound around and around the spiral stairwell until we reached Drite stock, 3 floors underwater. But water? I muttered this without thinking when we reached the floor. As far as I could see, the floor was a sheet of water that had flooded in. It was about up to my ankles. There's water flooding in from somewhere else. No, I don't think so. The water's not moving, is it? Now that she mentioned it, there was not even a ripple on the water's surface. There was no evidence that the water level was increasing. I looked around to be sure, but there weren't any signs that water was leaking from anywhere. Well then, what is this? This must be from the water that washed us away earlier. I figured the seawater that pooled on Zwite's stock flowed down here. Maybe via the emergency stairs, or a vent. I don't know how, but somehow it flowed down here. Hey, you remember that saying? About how water flows downhill? We entered the room from a door along the corridor. The room's massive ancient remains were steeped in water, making it seem just like the seafloor had risen up. As you and I looked around the wide room, our legs splashed water all over. Our drenched clothes were drying, so we didn't really feel the cold. The water on the floor was not as cold as I'd expected, but somehow walking in the water in shoes was, well, unpleasant. Seawater's pretty unpleasant. It's sticky too when it dries. Finally, when we turned into a corridor, we heard an unexpected sound. Hey, did you hear something just now? We stopped and listened. Somebody was hitting something. Somewhere nearby. There are other people here. Other people that were left behind. She shouldn't be happy about that. We ran at full speed in the direction of the sound. Hey, somebody! Somebody? Is there anybody there? Anybody? Two girls' voices could be heard from within the elevator. You and I looked at each other and nodded. Hold on, just a little longer. We're gonna open the door for you. Alright, oh good. I was worried that no one would come. The voice from inside sounded well. It didn't sound injured or weak. Still, how are we gonna open this? You placed both your hands on the door and pushed left and right. Oh, why do we keep running into problems like this? Why did it open? If you were paying attention, you'd be able to tell. You gave it a try. I switched places with you and reached out to try and open the door. It didn't budge. Come on, put some power into it. I tried to put my fingers in the crack in the door, but my fingernails just barely squeezed in. There was nothing happening there. Ow! Blood started oozing from the nail of my index finger. But it was the digit next to that caught my eye. The thumb on my left hand. Hey! I noticed a distinct mark on it. On the meaty part of the thumb was a deep scar about half an inch long. I wonder if I'd had that for long. The mouth of the cut was swollen and milky white coloured. Are you alright? That question brought me back to reality. Oh my, you're bleeding. Let me see. You grabbed my left hand. I suddenly bent my thumb under, hiding the scar. For some reason I didn't want her to see it. You took an adhesive bandage from her pocket and put it on the bloody finger. I swear, you need so much looking after. Thanks. My finger smelled faintly sweet. The door still won't open. But it seems there is someone that needs even more looking after than you do. What should we do? Oh, that's right, you muttered. She searched around in her pocket for something, and she took out a... drum roll, please. Ta-da! A marker. It was just a felt tip pen. See this? You take it around like this, then you do this, around and around and around. Then, as she said this, you screwed the cap end into the space between the doors. A gap appeared. See? I jabbed my finger into the open space gap and started forcing the door open. The box inside, the part where the people ride, was stuck right before arriving at Drite Stock. Above the door, jutting out some 20 inches or so, was the lower bit of the elevator box. It was at the height where I could stretch my hand out completely. It would just reach. If we could get the box open, then it seemed possible to pull the people trapped inside over to our side. Shoulder ride? Used one word said it all. As she implied, I stood in front of her and spread my legs, bracing myself. Hey, why do I have to lift you up? Huh? I meant the opposite way around. In this type of situation, it is the stronger person that's on the bottom, right? I went around behind you, wordlessly squatting down. You was wearing a skirt after all. One reason I tried to be on top was I thought it would save her the embarrassment. As I was thinking that, you straddled my head with her legs. I put both my hands on my knees, supporting myself, and stood up all at once. Her soft thighs hugged against my head. She was flush against the back of my neck. It was a bit nice. Wait, hold on, we're almost there. Please help. You took the marker and started prying it between the doors again. She stuck her finger in the gap, and then she opened the door with a flourish. Wow! With you on my shoulders, I looked up. A girl in uniform was peeking down. Oh, we saw her before. Whoa. I don't know why, but all three of us exclaimed at once. Just then I felt something like an electric shock run through me. severe lights went off in my mind and I heard the sound of something snapping. I was suddenly dizzy. I lost my sense of balance and swayed forward and back. Are we going to do the pass out thing again? My vision and consciousness were overrun by white. I couldn't take anymore. Yeah. I felt the floor like a marionette with its strings snipped. Ouch. Jeez. Why'd you fall like that? You could have hurt someone. Jeez, lazy. Kids these days are so lazy. Things began to fall back into focus. I was lying on my back looking at the ceiling. The lights were shining down brightly. Ha 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 ha. The girls were pointing at me and laughing. Their innocent faces were enveloped in celestial-like light. Just like a couple of angels staring down from heaven. Hey, you alright? I didn't know why. It was a bizarre sense of something like deja vu that came welling up in my mind. I felt like I'd seen this all before. This angelic smiling faces somehow made me feel nostalgic. Like it was a fragment of some familiar everyday scenery. I couldn't explain it, but somehow I had that vague sense about things. Why is the floor all wet? Did a water pipe burst? Oh, I don't even know because they've stuck in the elevator. As I was about to answer, the girl cut me off. But that's so important as... Just what are you doing here, Nakyu? The girl said as she descended from the elevator, patting her clothes back into place. I should be asking Cadet. Mayo, what are you doing here? Mayo? The girl's name was Mayo? What do you mean? If you take a look at my outfit, you'd know. You're on a school trip? That's for seniors. Oh, right, Mayo, you're still a junior, yeah? Right. So what then? Have you forgotten everything about your old high school already? Huh? Volunteer activities? At Q McCann, juniors are supposed to go out and volunteer somewhere, right? Not Q. You just graduated this year, so you gotta remember, right? Oh, that's right. The volunteer program. The civil service volunteer program. Well, that was the official name, but it was really just a glorified field trip. Still the same old deal, I bet. The girls go helping out at Lemieux for a day or something stupid like that. You got it. When I was there, we went to United Land, but I guess they changed it to Lemieux, huh? You didn't see any other students, did you, Nakyu? The whole Q McCann junior class should be here. No, I didn't see anyone. While the two of them were talking, I decided to take a peek at the elevator that Mayo was stuck in. I grabbed onto the entrance of the box and used my momentum to pull myself up. It was empty inside. I thought I heard two girls inside. I wonder if my mind's playing tricks on me. I let go of the elevator and dropped to the floor. Hey, what are you doing? You asked me this when I returned to the ground. Okay, we're asking you again. We're overriding stuff because we don't have a lot of save slots. Well, let's ask you. Well, before, didn't I hear two voices? So? You shot the question right back at me and then looked back at Mayo. No, it's just me. Nobody else. I see. I guess it was just my mind playing tricks on me? Mayo would glance at me from time to time, but when our eyes met, she would look away. Nakyu? Who's this? Oh, this guy? He's just a visitor. We just met a while ago, but you know, a lot has happened since then. Nice to meet you. There was something a little off about Mayo's greeting. And this is Mayo. She goes to your old high school. Nice to meet you too. But then again, my words were pretty stiff as well. But her real name is Sara Matsunaga. Sara, so why Mayo? Matsunaga Sara. Tuna salad. A tuna salad is loaded with mayonnaise. At least for Nakyu it is. I see. I said that, but I still didn't really get it. I had a feeling that simple salad dressing was better suited to tuna salad. Well, whatever. It wasn't important. By the way, your name is... name? Yeah, your name. My name is... Oh, don't do that again. He says he can't remember. What? Amnesia, that's what. Amnesia? Really? Yes. Oh wow, cool. Wow? That's kind of cool, isn't it? I mean, like amnesia? It sounds kind of like an international man of mystery kind of thing. Like maybe you could be hunted by an underground organization or assassins or something. Assassins? I wouldn't kill anybody. I keep trying to tell you not to take things so seriously. Huh. Amnesia. You really do have it. That amnesia thing. Sarah kept staring at me as if I was something exotic, like I were an angel. Replete with a set of wings on my back. The divine and nostalgic feeling from before had vanished like an illusion. The three of us aimed for an exit. It goes without saying, but Sarah couldn't hide her surprise at the transformation the complex had undergone. What's this? Why is the whole place flooded? And there doesn't seem to be anyone around. While we walked, Yu brought Sarah up to speed with the situation while walking next to her. She told her that Yu herself was working at Lemieux, how I'd collapsed in by the kiosk, how after falling down I was hauled to the infirmary. After finishing the story, Yu went on. And then, you know, suddenly the alarm started ringing. Alarm? Well, I didn't tell you about this yet. While you were out, they rang the emergency evacuation alarm. I don't know why, but it said, anyway, everybody please escape or something like that. Mayo, you heard it, right? Yeah. Suddenly the elevator stopped and I got stuck inside. I think it was right after when I heard the alarm. And then there were 3 other staffers and myself in the infirmary. And the other 3 said that they would go out to check on what was going on and never came back. I waited, but nobody returned. The only 2 people left in the room were me and you. I couldn't just abandon Kadir. And at that point, I wasn't even that worried. I figured probably some kid had just gone and pushed the emergency alarm button. That was all I thought was going on. I figured even with a prank it must be serious for them to sound the emergency evacuation warning. But now that you mention it, I suppose so. But at the time it was just, I don't know. I was worried about this kid. You're worried about me? Well, sure. And then what happened? Everything after that was old news to me. The closing of the watertight doors, our search for the emergency stairs to the floating island, and of course, you also told Sarah about how we got washed away by floodwater. After that, I, you, and Sarah did a complete check of Drite stocks corridors, but we met with a dead end. I see a pattern here, and a dead end, and a dead end, and a dead end, and a dead end, after dead end. And the final place that we ended up was in front of a small door at the end of a narrow corridor. In the middle, the word Himmel was engraved. What is this? Good question. This is the first time I've been here. Saying that, you took hold of the doorknob. It didn't open. Looks like it's got a code on it. It didn't even budge. Next you started tapping randomly on the 10-key display next to the door. You should have known that it was a waste of energy. So this is the end. You punctuated this with a sigh. Punctuated this. The end? You mean we're... Yep. Looks like we're locked in. You weakly kicked the door. Following the sound, we went silent. The atmosphere around us was heavy. Both you and Sarah wore tired expressions, as if they couldn't even be bothered to speak anymore. There was a gloomy silence. To try and lighten things up, I said, "Hey, anyway, it doesn't do us any good to just stand around here. We've got to think of something." Something? A way to escape. You have any bright ideas? Well, let's see. How about... Oh, no. Don't take any of my ideas seriously. I'm an idiot. Try to contact the outside. Exits aren't going to work. Everything's locked down. Let's see if we can make contact. We could try to contact the outside of something. How? Cell phones don't even work. Do they have like a ham radio? I don't fucking know. Even without a cell phone, Lemieux must have other means of communicating, right? Means of communication? Oh, right, the control room. Why did I think of this until now? From there, we should be able to at least contact someone on the floating island. Use face lit up again. Next light returned to Sarah's eyes as well. But... you did a fantastic heel stomp on the console in the control room. What's this? Why won't it go through? What's the matter? It looked like she were going rant. No, she's definitely already ranting. I've never heard going rant like a verb. I mean, ranting is a verb. I don't know. Hey, Naku, wait a second. Hey, what are you doing with that chair? I'm gonna smash it into this stupid machine. I'm gonna destroy it. I mean smithereens. Absolutely pulverize it. Take it easy. Just calm down. How do you expect me to stay calm in a situation like this? How can all of the communication lines be down? I guess there's no power? Email too, even the emergency line won't go through. Is this possible? I don't get it. Something's wrong here. Still, you don't have to destroy... Shut up! I've had enough. Yeah! Sarah and I restrained you and dragged her outside the control room. Yu's eyes were bloodshot like a rabid dog. Somehow her fantasy-like outfit seemed out of place. Well, if it has come to this, then there's nothing else to do. Let's just split up again and look for an exit. It's no use. After we already looked everywhere? But we haven't looked inside the rooms. I see. There must be something like a secret passage hidden or something. There's no way. This isn't a ninja house, you know. Anyway, let's just look one more time, alright? Because there might be a helpless maiden trapped somewhere like I was. I'm off. So with that, the three of us, Sarah, you, and I, split up and started searching the complex. We agreed we'd meet again in an hour. We decided to meet in front of the control room. I decided to check Drite's stock from end to end. You and Sarah were probably investigating upstairs. The rest area. I noticed immediately that the scenery was different from the morning. The pond in the middle was covered with a lid. Or more a partition of sorts than a lid. In either case, the pond was no longer connected to the ocean. The MMIH computer that you had talked about might have automatically sealed it off. Fried chicken sandwich shop. There was still a slight scent of cooked chicken in the air. Nice. The second I smelled it, my stomach started to growl. Let's go steal some food. I glanced around. There was no one there. I thought I might eat, but I didn't want to do anything criminal. I swallowed once and left the area behind. Dude, it's life or death, go for it. The conference room. There was nothing really out of the ordinary here, but I did pick up on one thing. The room was not flooded with seawater. The elevated entrance had stopped the water. A done chicken sandwich stand. The fragrance of food was tickling my nose. The control room. This room was spared flooding by its elevated entrance. The chair that you had knocked over was as she had left it. I put it back to where it should be, checked the room and left. That chicken sandwich stand! The smell just wouldn't quit teasing me. The ruins of Lemuria. You had passed through here just a while before. Just to be sure, I peeked in the shadows of the stone pillars and behind buildings, but couldn't find anything resembling a pathway. The chicken sandwich stand! That smell, oh, I couldn't take it anymore. I silently extended my hand toward the case, holding the warm chicken sandwiches. The situation called for extreme measures. I kept telling myself that as I munched and swallowed down the sandwich. With that, I'd finished checking Drite's stock. It didn't look like there were any hidden corridors to be found, or anyone trapped here besides the three of us. I wondered how things were above. Maybe it was just like you had said. Maybe there was no more point in looking. Then we might as well just go back and eat more fucking sandwiches. It was still before our meeting time, but I went back into our rendezvous point in front of the control room. And when I got there was a surprise waiting for me. Hey. Hello. Huh? Who are you? What, you forgot us already? What in the world? I felt like I had met them before. I was pretty sure of it, but... your name is... I couldn't remember it. Nah, I don't think I've introduced myself yet. I'm Takeshi Kuranari, and this here is... The guy named Takeshi indicated the girl. I'm Sora. Akinagasaki. Akanegasaki. She gave a slight nod. Takashi and Sora. I repeated the words. They both nodded. But what are you doing here? Yahoo! Huh? What's going on here? You don't have to be so surprised, do you? Just a bit ago, when I walked around this white tea stock with Mayo, we bumped into these three. So you're stuck here too, huh? Yes. That's right. No, wait a sec. Didn't you just say 3 people? Yeah. See, right over there. I followed the direction of Yu's finger. Someone was standing on the opposite end of the wall along the corridor. I could only make half the person's back, but I saw long hair and black clothes, and it left an impression. Who's that? You mean Tsugumi? Oh, Tsugumi Kamachi, I think it was. Tsugumi. So that was her name. She wore all black. It didn't sound familiar, but still, I feel like I've met her somewhere before. Do you know her? No, it's not that. It's probably just my imagination. It's just somehow something. Something? Anyway, she's pretty tough to get along with. I'm not sure why, but it seems like she doesn't like me very much. Doesn't like you? I can feel a slight animosity emanating from Tsugumi's back. She didn't have to say anything. There was a definite atmosphere which made approaching her difficult. Maybe I'll go talk to her? Just as that thought crossed my mind, Tsugumi shot a glance in our direction. She had piercing eyes and an intimidating gaze. With her glare eating into me, I couldn't take even one step forward. There was no way I could talk with her. What's that all about? Why is she so angry? I haven't done anything to make her hate me. Tsugumi's gaze returned to normal. Cold beads of sweat appeared on my forehead. Well, that reminds me. Where's Sarah? Having realized she wasn't around, I glanced around the room. Without my noticing it, Sarah had come to stand behind me at some point. Creepy. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if it's worth quick saving all the time like I'm doing, but I want to have a nice jump back point if I get myself immediately killed somehow. You know that's a possibility. Well, I mean, it might not be, but it wouldn't be the first game to just kill me for a stupid decision. Don't worry. But their expression somehow didn't seem fine. It was probably to be expected though. All kinds of things had happened, and in the end we hadn't found an exit. Mentally we were pretty well done in. I thought that I should probably leave her alone for the time being. Anyway, just standing around isn't going to get us anywhere. Let's see what the situation in Lemieux is right now via the control room. Sora said this and pointed to the control room right across from us. Encouraged by Sora, we all shuffled into the room. So Sora, do you understand this? Well, let's see. Sora faced the monitor and held up both hands. Instantly, the content of the screen began to change, with a number of windows opening, closing, and searches for data underway. I stared dully at her rapidly moving hands. It looked like Sora was fairly used to handling this computer. For one thing, there weren't any flying chairs or heel stomping. It was completely different from the way you had handled things a while ago. Yeah, she handled things. I've learned something. Finally, Sora said this in a matter-of-fact way. Everyone looked in her direction. Everyone, please calm down and listen to me. Please don't get hysterical or depressed. Saying this, her face seemed pale. All eyes were glued to her in silence. I have a report on the current status of Lemieux. First, the first floor, Erste Boden, is completely flooded. Completely? Yeah, all of the partitions have dropped, and it isn't possible to get through any of its corridors. So what you mean is all the paths leading up are completely shut off. That is correct. Furthermore, here is the status of White Stock. This is the floor above, the floor with the infirmary. So this is Dritte Stock. The blinking area is our current location. Okay. You serious? No way. Almost half of Lemieux is submerged. Sora nodded somberly with a pained expression on her face. This floor's dry areas are divided into 3 sections. Dry areas? The areas that have no flooding, and that people are able to pass through. The central area displayed on the map is where we currently are in Sector 8. It looks like the map is divided into 2 areas, so where's the third? Actually, due to a flaw in the system, we're unable to call up a detailed map. Sector 4 above the corner of Sector 8 looks fine. However, there's no way to get there. Correct, it's impossible. Why? All of the corridors connecting the sectors are flooded. In terms of distance, it's roughly 100 yards. I don't think there's anyone among you that is capable of swimming 100 yards without breathing. And therefore, I say that it is impossible. Furthermore, even if someone did reach Sector 4, I don't think it would improve our situation at all. Section 4 is in the same predicament as here. All of the emergency stairs leading up to the floating island are completely flooded. So even if we could make it there, we'd be wasting our time. That's correct. Everyone went quiet. For a while, we just stared at the Lemieux map that was floating in the darkness, and then... Hey, I just thought of something. You opened your mouth slightly. Isn't there something like a wastewater pump in Lemieux? Of course there is. But why don't we use that to pump the floodwater out of the areas? It appears to be out of order. Why? We've got electricity. I'm not yet certain of the cause. Some electrical systems, including the elevators, are malfunctioning. Disconnected wiring in each sector might be affecting the situation, but... Has someone virused the computer? By the way, a life reading search on our bioscan for life inside the Lemieux indicates that the people present are the only people remaining here. The people here, you, Sarah, Sora, Tsugumi, Takeshi and I, a total of 6 people. Furthermore, the current internal air pressure is 1 atmosphere. Oxygen concentration 22%, nitrogen concentration 75%, helium concentration 3%. Temperature 75.2 degrees. You mean the environment is suitable for us to stay here for a while? Yes, that is the current situation. Everyone will be forced to wait inside the complex for a while. For a while. How long is that? Until help comes. I'm continuously sending out a request for assistance, however, currently there is no guarantee that they'll reach anyone. All communication lines to Incel Null, including the emergency ones, have been physically severed and are unusable. I've also been attempting to make contact via a seafloor cable network using sonar. Right now, I cannot estimate when the network will be back online. So we're like little kids lost smack in the middle of the ocean, and nobody can hear our SOS. Exactly. The gravity of the situation was descending on us. There was no reason to be upbeat. Takeshi and you let loose with sighs almost simultaneously. Sarah and I slumped our shoulders. That reminds me, what happened to Tsugumi? She hasn't said anything at all. I looked back. Tsugumi was standing in the corner of the room glaring at us. Like before, there was an atmosphere around her that seemed impenetrable. Really? Why is she so peeved? A little while later. Alright, now's the perfect time to wrap it up, I guess. Sounds bad. Well, it looks like we've got the whole crew now. There's 6 of us in total. Thought there'd be 9, but, you know, 6 is good too. And we're kind of fucked, but we'll see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking it out for me, and I'll see you in the next one.